Welcome to another one, guys. It's been a while, but we're back and we are having interesting conversations as usual with people in the film, theater space, creative space generally. And today I have here a gentleman who is doing amazing works in the film, the theater space. We're going to hear his bio, and when we come back, we're going straight into the conversation. So stay tuned.
Kofi Dzogbewu is a Ghanaian storyteller. He holds a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology and English from the University of Ghana, where he read creative writing. He also holds a Bachelor of Laws from Central University in Ghana. He works with words in many forms, including nonfiction, fiction, play and screenplay writing, music composition and writing, as well as poetry. He's an alumnus of the Mo Isa writing workshops. His works have been featured in the Kalahari Review and anthologies like A Voice is a Voice and Afajato. He is the author of the novel Aje. He is a producer and director of Jomoko Productions, a film and theater organization. His writings explore African culture, ambition, fantasy, and modernity.
There you have it. We've heard his bio, and we are here today with Mr. Kofi Dzogbewu. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you to AJ for the opportunity.
Yes, I'm really excited to have you here because we always meet once a year at Peja and other places here and there, but it's really exciting to get into your story and just the amazing work that you're doing. So tell us how it all started. What was the genesis of you deciding to be a creative? And especially in Ghana, we have all the interesting
Yeah,
things that people will say when you decide that you want to be a creative or be in the creative path. So where did it all start for you and how has the journey been so far?
yeah. So for me, being a creative started through a film, actually. I was watching a Nigerian film with my dad several years ago. And I think in the film, somebody was being bullied out of their land.
Okay.
And I asked my dad, why can't the person fight back and take the land? It belongs to them. Everybody knows it belongs to them. So they just need to take the land, don't allow anybody. And my dad said there are people in society who cannot fight for themselves and they would need other people to do that fighting for them. And I like the way the storyteller brought that to the forefront. So I told my dad, then I want to be the person helping the people who cannot fight for themselves do the fight. And then he told me, oh, then you want to be a lawyer. So I agreed from there that I want to be a lawyer. But as time went on, the way the person told the story kept ringing in my mind. So I had decided I was also going to be a storyteller, but that was something kept at the background. And until I went to the hometown with my dad one time, and then the linguist was taking everybody gathered there through um, how certain cultures, traditions came into being in the village. And they were changing the custom from how a person dies but doesn't die in the village, and the rites they perform to bring the person's soul, let me put it that way, back to the land. And the way the linguist told the story from the way the custom started, the changes that has occurred through the custom over the years till the changes they want to make at the particular time. I fell in love with the storytelling. So I told my dad, yes, I'm going to tell stories like the way the linguist has told the stories. And that was how I started writing stories here and there and tried as much as possible to be as close to the way the linguist told the story as much as possible. So that's how it started for me. But I would say writing, as taking up writing and calling myself a writer, started years after that event. And through my storytelling, I have found out there are several ways I can go by telling those stories. And through the years, these various ways have made themselves known through theater, through film, through novel writing and short stories. So that has been the process so far till this time.
Amazing. And you even went on to, create your own production house, as we heard in your bio. Can you tell us about that and how it's been so far, the journey, and also how you've been able to combine theater and film? So maybe we start from the whole idea of creating the production company, and then we'll get to the combination of theater and film and how it's been.
All right. So in my quest to tell my stories, I have also loved to portray certain stories that is not readily told in the system. So, and these stories, when I tell them, sometimes I want them formed. I sent the stories to a number of producers and told me, okay, this isn't our style. We don't usually tell stories like this. So then I'll go and put the story down. And as time went on, I also fell in love with performance. So I decided to audition for some roles in films and theater from time to time. I got some of the roles and then I performed, but they demanded a certain level of commitment that the other things I was doing, schooling and all that, didn't give me that luxury to be that committed to it. So I would join a production house, do 1, 2 plays or a film, then they are expecting me to do something else, but I'm not getting the time. And then they will tell me, we can't work with you any longer. So I felt those stories that I'm writing, that I'm not getting the platform to get them performed. Why don't I start doing them myself and allow myself the pace to combine other things with creativity and not feel pressured to focus on only one of them. So I felt the best way to do that was to create my own production company where I would produce theater and film. And in that way, nobody is going to determine if my story suits the kind of stories they like to put across. So yes, that's how the idea for my theater production came about. And yes, it's been difficult combining everything. Like I said earlier, a certain level of commitment is needed if you want to be a performer, which I wasn't able to commit myself to.
Right.
So the production house served as a sanctuary, a safe haven for me, that I can quickly come and then do something and then run away and then go and focus on school, do in law school and everything. So yes, it's been quite challenging, but I've had some very good people in my team who take the mantle whenever I am busy or occupied elsewhere. So they keep the production house going and then keep the stories and rehearsals and everything going when I'm occupied somewhere else. So that's how I've been able to keep doing all the various things while still keeping the production house.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. And yeah, this is just to show that if you're not getting the platform, then create the platform yourself. And I'm a firm believer in that. And that's exactly what you did. And yeah, today we have you here on the show. But just to get into it, you know how sometimes people like to say things like, oh, why don't you stick to one thing and then do it well? Why are you doing this and that and this and that? And by that, I mean theater and film. It's interesting because I feel like they are interconnected. But then some people do not actually think that. They believe that if you're doing theater, you have to stick to it and do it well in film. Did you ever get any of those kind of job and pushbacks, people speaking to you and telling you things like that? And how are you able to still decide that this is something that you wanted to do?
Yes, I encountered things like that. There's been experiences where I told people, okay, especially when I wanted to actually establish the production house as one that produces film, people were like, no, film is not theater. Yeah, film involves a lot, and there are why not just. But for me, just like film and theater are connected. And the main reason why I set up that house was one, to give myself the platform to perform and do things that I wasn't getting the opportunity to do because it didn't fall within the bracket of other people. Mm-hmm. Secondly, I also wanted to give people the opportunity to also make sure they get the chance to see their dreams to fruition when what they want to do doesn't also fall within the bracket of what others are doing. So film and theater, people want to be in film, and the kind of performances or roles they want to play may not be in the traditional or the normal space. And they come and say, oh, I have this story, I think we can put it together. And that's the kind of stories I do. So I said, oh, come on, we will do it. So if I decided to focus only on theater, and then I get stories that need to be told, but are not getting the platform or the avenues to be told, then I would cut off a certain section of people or performers that would want the opportunity. And I wouldn't be very fair to myself and to the reason why I set up the production house. So that was it. When it comes to theater, first when the production house was started, we focused solely on theater. Right. And did theater for a while until I wrote a story that I felt, no, there's no way I can bring this story alive on stage because it involved a lot and it will be very, very difficult and challenging to put on stage. So I felt the best avenue was to use the film and said, okay, since it's film, let me young filmmakers I know and say, hey, this film, it will involve a lot. We can't do it from my stage right now, I don't think. I said, no, okay, then I'm also going to add film to the production house and then just produce these kind of stories. And so that's how I combined the two. And we are not focusing solely on one, but making sure people get the platform for both avenues.
Amazing, amazing. And you've done amazingly well so far. And we're only looking forward to the amazing projects that you bring on board, just like Kpintingeshorts. And we're going to get into that shortly. But before we do, I'd like to know what are some of the challenges you face as someone who has, created your own platform from nothing, I would say, because it's like you were trying to get your work on other platforms, it wasn't working. What are some of the challenges? And also, not just the challenges, because we also try to promote good things as well, the positives. So talk about the negatives as first, and then we can get into the positives of being able to start something yourself.
So yes, when I started the production house, my major challenge was getting people who shared in the vision and the reason why I wanted to start the production house. Almost everybody that I came across or spoke to at the time wanted to go in a direction that wasn't similar to what I wanted, the vision I had for the production house. So in the beginning, I tried doing it alone and it was so stressful. I almost gave up at a point. Then I met Albert, who shared in the vision and said, oh, I'll help out. I also had this plan of doing something like this. And so let's go. And that's what gave me the boost to see this through. So that was my major challenge, number one. The second one was getting resources to produce the various stories that we wanted to put across. It was difficult getting resources, especially a new theater practitioner and filmmaker that nobody had heard about. People knew me as a storyteller that came to perform storytelling or poetry performances, but they know me as somebody who had a film production house. So it was difficult, and putting one project together was very, very, very difficult. So I had to fingers into my savings and money I had, see the projects to fruition. And that was a major challenge. Also, because of the lack of resources, getting people to actually join and help put the performance together was very difficult. Times are hard economically, and telling someone to sacrifice their time and their effort to join in a production that they are not, they are going to get anything end of the day was very, very, very difficult. So these were some of the challenges I faced, but the putting up the production house has also been very rewarding. The first one is the fulfillment and contentment it brings that someone tells you, oh, thank you, it's because of you that I have been able to get my story out there, is the best reward I can ever imagine. So yes, the first one is the it brings. The second one is that it's been able to open up production house, has been able to get myself known in certain spaces. People who didn't know me as someone, a theater practitioner and a filmmaker before, now know me as one. And now getting resources to fund projects I want to do longer going to be as difficult as it used to be as I started. And this is going to make the projects we do be more invested in and more rich. They are going to be richer. And also the connections that I have made because of the production house is one that I can't put any amount to, because now people actually come to me and say, oh, I have this idea. Let's not even talk about money. Let's see how we can put this together. And that is way bigger and more rewarding than anything else. So these are some of the benefits that have come. And because of this production, we've been able to put certain stories that wouldn't be told on a normal day in the public for everybody to see. So yes, these are some of the positives from putting together the production house.
Amazing, amazing. So if you're a creative or you're someone who's thinking of starting something yourself, you've heard it all. It's not going to be as easy as you think, but then it's going to be very rewarding. Thank you for sharing that. Now let's get into Kpintingeshorts. Please tell us all about it. What is this open call for creatives to, submit projects to?
Yeah. So in 2020, when I started to actively partake in film, I realized that all the films I was coming across were written by Ghanaian films I was coming across were written by well-renowned and well-known script writers and filmmakers. And I was wondering, oh, so what about my age mates? What are they writing? And the ones that have written anything about film, they did it because school demanded it from them. Some did it because they felt they needed to maybe convert a short story they had written into a film just to test out the waters. But none of them that I had met at the time were writing for film commercially. They weren't doing it as something they felt would bring them money or something. People were just doing it out of hobby and out of obligation because maybe they are in film school and they need to put together a project and they have to write a film. But none of them were doing it because they wanted to. So I felt, okay, I needed an avenue to encourage young Ghanaian writers to also write for film. And that is how the Kpitinge short film series started. So we put out the call for writers to submit their scripts, and then we are going to produce it for them for free. And we select the top 3 and produce. And even if you are not among those that were selected, you have written a short film because you wanted to, which was the whole idea behind it in the first place. So we had writers, young writers, writing scripts to submit for the call that we made at the time. And that was an excellent, people, people have something they are looking, they are more than ready produce things to meet that goal. So that was what was happening, and that's why we started the Kpitinge short film series. So for the maiden edition, theme domestic abuse. So people sent in stories for people that were abused in the house, couples, young children being abused by parents, and all of that. We selected the top 3 and then we produced these films. And then we went on a hiatus because we were short on funds. The production happened with money from my savings, and I had exhausted myself for the first round, so I needed to pace myself out for the second round. So for about 2 years, we didn't make a call again. And then this year we made another call, and the theme is on tradition and culture of Ghana. So any story that is remotely connected or associated with tradition and culture of Ghana, we invite the stories, and that's been the journey so far.
Amazing. So, so if someone is watching right now and they want to be a part of the Kpintingeshorts series, what is the process? So they submit the script that is already done, or do they submit an idea? Can you please take us through the process?
Yes. So for the first run, we realized that young film is very technical. Film writing is very technical. The young writers were not very, they didn't have so much knowledge on how to write a film script. So we had a lot of very good stories, but they didn't know how to put it together to submit. So for this run, we decided, okay, let's take all that applications from the writers. Let's allow them write their stories the way they want to write them. And once the stories are selected, we will put them through a workshop to convert the short stories into a film script, into a screenplay. So this time around, we are calling for stories, but they shouldn't be in the form of a script, just a short story. And then once it is selected, we will workshop the writers through a workshop, and then they are going to put these short stories into a screenplay. Then we can produce for them. So we want the writers to feel free, forget about film scripts, screenplays, just write your story. And once your story is selected, we will then train you on how to change these stories from a short story to a film script, and then we'll produce it for you. So this time the call is just for the stories. We don't want you to put it in a screenplay format. Just write your stories in prose format, up to 5,000 words maximum, with not more than 6 characters, and then submit it to our email, kpitingeshortfilmseries@gmail.com, and that's all you need to do.
You heard it. That's all you need to do. So if you have an idea for a story and you are looking to develop it into film, don't worry. That's not necessarily need to be in a script form. Just put down your story with no more than 6 characters and send it to the email that will display on your screen. And don't forget that this is an opportunity you don't want to miss out on, because there'll be 3 selected stories that would then be workshopped, right? Yes, they'll be workshopped, exactly. And then we'll now get those into scripts, which will now be produced.
Yes.
So, I mean, if you're watching this is an opportunity for you, especially if you are not someone who has the training to write a script, but you have a story that you feel can be a wonderful film. Take advantage of this opportunity. Now, you mentioned that you had to take a hiatus because there was some financial constraints, but now coming back into the new season of the Kpintingeshorts film series, how has it been in terms of funding? How have you been able to fund this process? And are you open to funds still coming in for this process?
Yes. We are really open to sponsors and people helping and partnering with us for the Kpitinge short film series. We haven't actually received funding, but over the years, we have developed relationship with people, filmmakers, actors, and other people involved in filmmaking. And they have assured us that when it is time to produce these films, they have pledged their support in terms of directing, in terms of giving us some equipment, among other things. And we've had some actors who have also pledged to act some of the
Oh,
film
wow.
for us. So as much as we are going to be involving funds to produce the films, it's not going to be as before because people have actually pledged their effort and their time and there are some of their equipment to help us. We are still open to people supporting us because we still have a lot to that people involved, the team members involved are going to have to dip their hands into our savings to produce the entire thing. We've had some promises from some people that they are going to help us when the time we start producing, but these promises are not set in stone and you can be disappointed at any time. Yeah. Same happened for the first one. We had people who had actually written out checks for us to cash out when we are about to produce, but COVID came and their businesses were hit and they had to tell us we can't help any longer. We need to divert that money to somewhere else. So yes, we've had 1, 2 people promise us, but they haven't made any commitments that would really make them have to support us by hook or crook. So we are open to people to sponsor this project. We will open our hands and then tell you all that we need to do to get this support.
Amazing. So if you are watching this right now and you are willing to support such a worthy cause, just, visit the email on the screen right now,
Yes.
and then also the number that will display on the screen. And just support as much as you can because this is such a great initiative and it's for the creative scene. We are just open to support because we are one of the very, I would say, underfunded sectors, and we are really pushing to make things work regardless. So all the support that we can get, we are definitely open to it. And it's also showing you, if you're watching now and you are in the film space or theater space, the importance of collaboration, the importance of relationships, because you heard from Kofi as he was saying that he has been able to foster relationships with people and they've been able to pledge that they would support. So support doesn't necessarily always have to come in cash. It can also come in kind. And that's the importance of creating or fostering relationships in this industry. Now, before I let you go, I'm sure someone watching right now who probably has been renewed, their hope has been renewed that, okay, I don't necessarily only have to do film to be successful. I don't only have to do theater to be successful. I can do both and even more. Now, what advice would you give to someone who is currently on that discovery or journey of discovery and then they are not able to get a platform to have their own production shown, and just generally some wise words of wisdom to anybody watching now?
Yeah. So yes, I would say that you need to take things one step at a time. Yes, you may want to do both theater and film, but you can't just step in and then try doing the two at the same time. You are going to burn out. So if for this period you are focusing on theater, focus on theater. And then once the theater project has ended, then you can focus on film. And once the film project has ended, if there's something else you want to do, you focus on that. And in that way, you are doing everything, but you are having time being dedicated to one thing you are doing at a time. Because if you want to be doing all of them at the same time, I remember there was a time I had to do a performance, and I had booked two performances on the same day, and I finished with one performance for the second one before I realized I was repeating things I said for the first performance in the second performance. And luckily it was my own performance, so people couldn't find out. And so if you want to do the two at the same time, you may end up making mistakes that you wouldn't normally do on a normal day. And if you are looking for the platform to start something, I just feel like you should start and then find people that share in the vision of what you are doing, and then work with them. Once you begin, you'll be shocked how the support is going to come in. Once people see you have started something, they would help out once you begin. So just start, and everything will clicks.
You've heard it from the man himself. Just start. Don't wait. The little that you can do right now in your own corner,
Just
do
begin.
it now,
Yeah.
and get it going. And before we finally wrap up, if there's anything you'd like to say about the Kpintingeshorts to anyone watching now, or anything that you would like to add to finally wrap this meeting up, the floor is yours.
Yes, so I think one thing I didn't add was that once the film is produced and everything is over, every right in the film is returned to the writer. We don't keep any right. So yes, feel free, send in your stories. We have from now till the 31st of March, to the 30th of March to submit your stories. So feel free, send in your stories, and don't be scared by thinking that your story is going to be taken away from you. After we are done with everything, your story and all the rights in it is returned back to you. So send your stories. We'll take them.
Amazing. Very, very important, because we creatives are very passionate and emotional about our projects, and it's very important to note that don't worry, your story remains yours. So feel free to submit, and don't worry, nobody's going to take your film from you and take the rights or the credits for the film.
Exactly.
It all belongs to you. So send in your submissions now. And do you have a word limit for the submissions?
Yes, 5,000 maximum, 5,000 words maximum. Yeah.
Okay, so maximum 5,000 words, send in your stories, and hopefully you get a chance. I mean, I'm sure there will be a number of submissions, so make it count and stand out with a great story so that you can be among the 3 that will be selected for the Kpitinge short film series.
Yeah.
It's been amazing interacting with you, Kofi.
Yeah, it's been amazing on my end too. Thank you very much for having me.
Awesome. And yes, this is what we do. We are always supporting people who are doing their best with the little that they have, or even with the nothing, creating something out of nothing. And also, we are a channel that is dedicated to the African film and theater scene, and also in the African diaspora. So we are very excited about the projects that you have coming up. And we know that this is just the beginning. And we look forward to a time where we'll have almost like a full circle moment, have another conversation, and be talking about all the great feats that you have achieved over the years.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, thank you guys for watching up until this point. And don't forget to always stay tuned to AJ for Short. And of course, follow Kofi Dzogbewu on Instagram. I'll put all his socials on the screen so that you can check him out, follow his journey, and also support him with everything that you are able to. It's been great interacting as always, and I'll bring you another episode of this amazing series where we talk to people in the film and theater scene. And I'll definitely catch you in my next video. Bye.